what happened in the world of crypto this week? Well, here to talk with me about it is Peter Gantner from True Badger. Peter, welcome back to another episode.
Hey, excellent. Great to be here today.
Great to have you, Peter. Last week, we talked about the terms and definitions in the world of crypto. This week, let's do a little bit deeper dive in how to get involved in crypto.
Yeah, and I will tell you right now, I'm gonna warn everybody, it is not as simple as we would like for it to be, right? I'm right off the bat. I love to be upfront with people about that type of stuff. There are, normally you say, hey, I want to open up a banking account. You go to the bank, you open up an account, you've got an account, you start depositing, withdrawing money. It's easy, it's simple, it's that. Crypto is a little bit more complex than that because you have to move from fiat to crypto. Where do I hold my crypto? Where do I, am I putting my crypto? And it really depends on what you're going to do with it. What you're going to do with your crypto is where you're going to store it. You may want to trade it on a daily basis, so you're going to store it in an exchange. You may want to use decentralized places to trade it that you would hold in your own wallet. Or you may say, you know what? I think Bitcoin, I think the people that are predicting it are right, and it's going to go to $1 million. And all I want to do is accumulate some Bitcoin, and I want to store it in a cold storage or in a hard wallet. So it's not on chain. So it's not on the internet, right? Or in the technology, but it's protected because I'm going to store it for a long period of time. So those are kind of different options that are available when you're purchasing crypto. To go through the process of doing it, so you'll need to get a Metamask or a trust wallet, some type of a wallet that you control. So a wallet is really simple. A wallet in the crypto space is just like my wallet, right? I have money in my wallet and it's mine, right? Nobody else has access to it. An exchange is more like a banking account where I don't necessarily hold the money in my hand. It's there for me, but somebody else is actually holding it. And then when I need it, I can have access to that. So that's a great way to think about it. And a hard wallet would be like my safe that's upstairs, right? It's protected. It's in a safe. Nobody can get into it unless you have the combination of it. So those are the three options. So we've got the safe, protected, off chain. You've got my wallet, which I have access to. I can spend it right away, just like the money in my wallet. And then you have an account with an exchange, which is where you're going to trade it out. Now, here's one of the things, especially if you're dealing with like the Ethereum chain or Bitcoin, where it could take 10, 15, 20 minutes for a transaction. If you have it in your wallet and let's say there's a drop in the marketplace and you're going to utilize those funds sooner than later, then you have to then send it to the exchange and then trade it. And then so I think the key to deciding where you keep it is deciding with what the use of those funds are going to be. Are they long-term funds? Cold storage wallet is fantastic. Are they funds that you want to grow? And so you're going to trade them. You're going to, when you see opportunities, dips in the marketplace, you're going to buy. When you see a price rise, you're going to sell. Then you'll probably want to keep that on an exchange if you want to do a centralized exchange. But if you say, hey, I like the decentralized aspect of it and I want to keep control of it, then you would keep it in your own wallet. The point where True Badger is right now, because we're not on a lot of centralized exchanges, you do utilize your own wallet. So you hold the tokens yourself, and then you would trade those utilizing decentralized exchanges like PancakeSwap or and there's a lot of them, Bunny, and there's so many swaps. There's SushiSwap, and there's a lot of different places to go and to do those type of decentralized swaps.
Right. So for someone who might be just toe dipping, for instance, using a wallet like Coinbase or even PayPal is an opportunity to not have to memorize strings of words and passwords, right? You can just use your username and password to get onto Coinbase or PayPal, and
yeah, if I was dipping my toe, I would probably do Coinbase, PayPal, or you also have Cash App. Those are probably the three best ones to be able to use if you're just going to do it. Now, Coinbase, you can trade, right? You can do some trading there. PayPal and Cash App are limited. You're just going to buy Bitcoin. But if I was going to touch my toe in the water, that's probably where I would start, is I would buy some Bitcoin and hold on to it. I'd wait for a dip, which it looks like right now we're in that process right now. Buy a little bit and start holding on to it. Even if somebody just said, hey, some of them have the ability, Coinbase definitely has it where you can just buy $25 a week or $50 a week worth of Bitcoin and just forget about it, right? And just let it just keep building up. Don't go check the price every day because, if it's in the red, you'll probably be logging into your Coinbase and selling it, but just kind of accumulating it over that course of time. And of course, this is not financial advice. You need to do your own research and figure that out. But these are just ways to easily, get into the space and then start learning about it. One of the reasons why it's a little complex is there's different chains. So one of the things I'd like to cover here is the difference between a token and a coin. So you hear the term coin and you hear that, oh, this is a token or this is a coin. What makes the difference between a token and a coin? A coin is its own blockchain. So Bitcoin is its own blockchain. Ethereum is a blockchain. The Binance Smart Chain is its own blockchain. These are chains that are built. And then what happens are other projects like True Badger come along and we build on those blockchains. We don't build our own blockchain. We build on other blockchains. And so we're a token because we don't have our own chain, which creates the coin. We build on somebody else's chain, which now gives us a token. And so that's a huge difference because you'll hear it. Well, that's a token. Well, this is a coin. And sometimes people call coins tokens or, vice versa, back and forth.
Right. So let me talk a little bit about, there are hundreds of tokens out there at this moment. Many of them, right? How many? Thousands. Yeah.
I believe Coinbase right now has 12,000 listed, 12,000 different cryptos listed, right?
That you can buy and sell on Coinbase.
You can buy and sell. Well, not on Coinbase, as a whole.
And the whole ecosphere.
But Coinbase does have a lot of different options. So PayPal right now is very limited in their options. Cash App is only Bitcoin that you can purchase through that. And Coinbase would be your best selection for being able to buy that. But again, getting into the space, it's unless you begin to learn something about blockchain and tokenomics, I would not recommend buying other tokens, right? Because you have to be able to, so if you're going to do your own research, you have to understand what's the utility, okay? And somebody explained this to me very well, what utility is. So we talk about we're a deflation or reflection utility token. What's the utility part? And the utility part is that the token or the coin has a job. And what do? You get paid when you do a job, right? So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for tokens. So Doge does not have a job, right? So I know there's a lot of excitement about Doge. It has Elon who tweets about it. It has some other things, but it has no job. It doesn't provide a value. Its value is in itself. Bitcoin has a job, and that is a store of value. It's taken the place of gold. Mm-hmm. So when you look at cryptocurrency, Bitcoin is the gold of cryptocurrency, right? Well, I think we talked about last week that what is an altcoin? An altcoin is everything except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the first coin. Everything else is an altcoin, right? From that point. So if you look at it, its job is to be a store of value, okay? And so that's what you're looking for cryptos with jobs. So unless you can take the time to evaluate, okay, here's a crypto. My friend just told me about it. Oh, it's on Coinbase. Maybe I should buy it. Well, the next question you should ask yourself is, what's the job of that crypto? And if you're willing to take the time and put the energy into finding out what that job is, then you're on your pathway to doing your own research. If you find out what that job is and you believe that that job can generate revenue for the project, then you're beginning on that pathway. That's the first phase of figuring out whether I'm going to get involved in a token or not. Right. The second phase is who's running the project, right? I don't get involved at all anymore in non-doxed teams, right? So if there's an anonymous team running a project, they're not getting my money, right? Because if they're not willing to say, hey, here I am, I'm going to do it. And one of the things that when I talk to people in the crypto space, but nobody knows who created Bitcoin, who Satoshi is. In that instance, in that case, he needed to keep it secret. I believe it's the only reason why it survived. If they had a person they could have went after, maybe they would have shut it down. But because it was virtual, it was out there. This is a different time and we're in a different place. Right now, the stuff that people are doing, they should be able to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm running this. I'm the person involved with it. And the reason why is, and I think you'd agree with this, Bob, is it's not only that you can find a great product, and this is in all instances of business, a great product. But if you don't have the right team running the project, it doesn't matter how good the product is. Yeah. It's going to fail, right? It's not going to make it.
So let me go back to the first thing you mentioned about trying to determine what its job is. How would you go about doing that? And how would you be able to tell like what's a good job versus what is a, I don't know, a bad job or a non-existent job?
So, okay, so problems, right? Good jobs solve problems. My car is dirty. I need it cleaned. I take it to the car wash. They wash my car for me. That's a solution to a problem that I have. Why don't I want my car to be dirty? Because I want to look good when I pull into it. You know, I don't want a dirty, messy car. So what you're looking for in the blockchain space is understanding a little bit about what the blockchain is going to do. It's going to help us protect and own our own data, our own information. It's going to allow for transactions to be cheaper. So a job of a crypto might be to lower transaction fees, speed up transactions. It may be where I can now securely protect my medical data, where I can carry it with me, where I can do that. So when you think about it, True Badger's job is to solve problems in the crypto for investors, people that are investing in the crypto space. We look at it and we say, well, there's bots attacking products. That's a problem because I'm going to overpay for my crypto. There's people that are running off with the funds of projects. How do you do that? By protecting the wallets, making it to where that's SAFUFI. So our job is to solve problems and develop things that stop the scam artists or stop people from harming the crypto space. And so that's what you're looking for is on. So normally what you would do is go to their website and you'd read their white paper. Okay. And you don't have to read every word, but just go through and say, oh, here's the job. And I would circle what that job is. And then you're going to sit down and you're going to say, okay, how important is that job? They're saying it's important. Of course, they're saying it's important. It's their project. But really, in the long term, how important it was. Amazon solved the problem of people going to the stores, right? Getting products to people. But it wasn't that you didn't have to go to the store anymore. It's that you didn't have to go to the store and they would get it to you that day. That was the real solution. They had to start delivering products here, where it took a couple days to get it, start delivering books. But ultimately, the goal was to deliver my laundry soap and my other stuff to my house right away. And they were building a system that did that. And so that's what I'm looking for in a crypto project is 5 years, 10 years down the road. Where do I think it's going? Where can I imagine that it's going? And what are the projects that are moving in that direction? They might not have it completely solved right now. One of the problems with Ethereum is gas fees. An Ethereum gas fee can be $20, $30, $40, $50 for one transaction. So what I'm looking for right now is projects that solve that gas fee. Ethereum, there's people right now with hundreds of billions of dollars of Ethereum. They want to use that. They want to hold on to it. It has a strong community in place. So the people who solve taking those gas fees from $30 down to 3 cents or 12 cents or 20 cents, that is a big opportunity. Because you have hundreds of billions of dollars worth of holdings, and then people that are going to want to use that to improve their life, buy NFTs, utilize it for other purposes, buying cars, buying different stuff. We talked about last week, AMC just came up with you can use crypto to pay for your tickets. Right. Well, if you're using the Ethereum chain and it's $12 for the transaction, you're paying $12 for a ticket, that doesn't make any sense. But there's literally hundreds of billions of dollars in Ethereum out there. So then somebody who could solve that and make it where I could use that Ethereum and pay 3 cents on that ticket, that would be something worth getting behind in purchasing or acquiring that token or coin because it's going to solve a problem. They may be successful, they may not be successful, but that's what you're looking for when, at least I'm looking for when I sit down and look at a project is what's the long-term potential. A lot of the people in crypto right now are talking about how they made $20 today or $40 today, and it's what they made. I see this as a long-term play. I think we're in 1999, 98 with the internet. And I was talking to some people today. Jeff Bezos didn't make his fortune until when? The last 5 years, really, right? I mean, he was a billionaire, but he really topped that 100, 150, who knows right now, right? Whatever it is right now in the last 5 years. So it took 20 years to set up to build a fortune over these last 5 years. And for him to, at one point, become the richest man in the world, right? 20 years ago, if I would have said, hey, Jeff Bezos is going to pass up Bill Gates, you probably would have told me I was nuts, right? But through staying focused on the purpose of delivering products, not just delivering to the house, but getting there that same day, I can literally order something and it'd be at my house by 6 o'clock tonight, right? That was a huge problem. And so I think that's what people are looking for in the crypto space, is people that are working on solving huge problems that exist in it. So think fast transactions, low transaction cost, security to where I can protect. Oh my goodness, right now there's people that have lost crypto and they can't get it back. Imagine the person that solves that issue where I can get my crypto back, where maybe the person who solves the problem where somebody steals crypto out of my wallet and I can cancel that crypto and get it replaced with that value, because there's some way, some DNA that's built into the crypto that only allows me to use it until I legitimately transfer it over. So solving problems is what I would look for in the job of any cryptocurrency.
All right. So let me go back to decentralized exchanges for a second. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, I've done a little toe dipping. I've been on the centralized exchanges. I have a Coinbase account, but it's limited in terms of the number of tokens I can buy. So I've got to look for other opportunities in the decentralized world. I create a MetaMask or a Trust wallet, and then what?
Yep. And right now I'm a fan of MetaMask. I think it's the easiest one to do. It's on your desktop. You can put it on your phone as well. So you're going to go through the process of setting up that wallet. Of course, for security purposes, never share your 12 seed words with anyone. There's actually a QR code there. That is your 12 words. Do not share it with anyone, because you don't want to lose. If anyone you give your 12 seed words to, that's their crypto as well, right? You're sharing it. And if you don't know who they are, then they're probably taking it and running off with it. So never share it with anybody.
And that's ultimately your password.
That is all. Yes, it's a very complex password. It's 12 unique words that are only assigned to you, that need to be put in that order, right? So that order needs to be done. It's probably the highest form of security that you can do right now, because of the fact that, it's pretty hard to randomly pick 12 words, right, to get into somebody's wallet. So it's very secure, as long as you don't give them to anybody. If you give them to anybody, then it's literally, I'm not kidding you. There are people that give them to people, and not 2 minutes later, their account is empty, right? It's gone. So you've got to be very careful with holding on to those. So now you have your own wallet. So I have a MetaMask wallet. That's where I hold the majority of my crypto. And the MetaMask automatically sets you up on the ERC20 network. And then if you want to add other chains, so remember, these are chains. So Binance Smart Chain, there's a process that you go through in order to get that added to it. That's what you need in order to hold things like True Badger. So these are the processes that you go through. One of the things that we've done, and we talked about this a little last week, is we've built a unique way. We have 6 full-time people that walk people through setting up wallets and getting things going, because of the complexity in getting involved in this and the uncertainty. But we also have videos online. YouTube is a great place to go to learn how to set up a MetaMask wallet, and Trust Wallet as well. Trust Wallet is only on your cell phone, where MetaMask is on your desktop and on your cell phone. And there's lots of other wallets out there. There's Math Wallet. It just goes on and on and on. So it's really just finding your favorite wallet. Again, MetaMask is probably the most popular, and that's the wallet that I utilize myself.
Right. And if you wanted to buy a token, there may be some complexity in buying it because of the hoops that you may have to jump through.
Yeah. So if you're on the ERC20 network and you're using decentralized, you use Uniswap or SushiSwap. those type of exchanges, you need to have ERC20 tokens in order to trade for the other token. Normally you'd start with the base. So you'd start with Ethereum. If you're on the Binance Smart Chain, you need to have BNB, but you need to have BSC BNB, which is Binance Smart Chain BNB. Now, this is where the complexity starts coming. If you want to buy something on a Polygon, right? The Matic chain, you need to have their base cryptocurrency in order to be able to do that. Now, here's the beauty of it. In time, all of that will go away. People are working on solving these cross-chain things. Just like in the old days of the internet, right? I mean, it was, and we joke around about dial-up, right? But it was painful. I mean, you could take 5 minutes, right? Just to log in. And then you click on a page and it could take 10 minutes for that page I could have went and grabbed the encyclopedia upstairs and looked up the definition before the page came up. However, that was the early days, and people that got involved in it in those days and started to engage have done very well, right? Our friend Greg, right, started Course Advisors, built a large company, exited that for a substantial sum of money, right? These were people that saw in the early days of the internet, and they said, wait a minute, there's something here. There wasn't something there. I could imagine Course Advisors with dial-up, right? It probably would have been painful. Imagine us right now doing this interview on dial-up.
Yeah.
It would have taken 4 hours to watch a 20-minute interview, right? However, what happened was people saw down the road and said, wait a minute, that's going to change. It's going to improve. We're going to get to where eventually, you could be driving down the road. Hopefully you're not driving, you're a passenger at 80 miles an hour. You're on the internet and you're watching the Flintstones, right? I mean, that's where we're at right now. You can do that. You can drive down the road, watch the Flintstones, or you're not driving. Okay.
It could be in a driverless.
I've said this before, right?
It could be in a driverless car maybe someday.
A driverless car, but that is going to happen. And I got to tell you, accidents will be reduced. And right now this is perfect. So I have people that tell me when I talk about driverless cars, they say, I will never be in a driverless car. But those are the same people that said they would never own a microwave. They would never have this. They would never do this. They would never go to an ATM machine. They like going to the teller. And now
they would never get in a car with a stranger.
Now they're taking pictures, right? And they're sending it there, right? Eventually, we will all be in driverless cars. Why? Because you'll be able to trust that the car is not going to get in an accident. It actually is going to drive better than we do as humans. Lots of great stuff there. And by the way, the blockchain is the reason. So we've watched all the movies, right? We've all watched Die Hard. I think it was like Die Hard 72 or something, right? Where they took control of the cars and they were crashing them into each other. It's not going to be possible on the blockchain, right? The blockchain is what's going to protect that information, that data, and keep it from anybody being able to take control of your car, because they're not going to be able to get past the security of the blockchain in that place. So lots of great stuff happening. This is a very interesting space. And, we think about where we were supposed to be according to the films and movies, right? By the time we got to 2021, I think we're supposed to be living in outer space right now. We're supposed to be having instant food where we push the button and our steak pops up. That hasn't happened. But I believe that the blockchain in this whole movement right now is going to start speeding some of that up and maybe get us closer to a lot of those types of things in the very near future.
All right. So we have about 5 minutes left. I wanted to do some current events, do a round robin on them. You mentioned AMC earlier. We had talked about Coinbase and its problems with the SEC. Coinbase has decided to drop its lend program. Any thoughts about that?
It's pressure from banking. Of course, banking doesn't want anybody lending money that's not them, right? Because that's how they make their money right now. And so I think that over the course of time, that what will happen is and here's the thing, Coinbase isn't going to have a middleman that needs to get paid a 6-figure income and, go vacation in Kenny Bunkport, right? I mean, it's just not going to happen, right? It's a computer, it's a contract, and it doesn't need it works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it has less cost, so it can pay better returns. And that's what they're worried about. Look, I've got my money in a savings account and I'm getting 0.2%, 2.25, 2.3. And all of a sudden somebody like Coinbase comes along, which is a publicly traded company, valued in the billions of dollars, and they're willing to pay me 5-6%, right? Or I can lend directly to consumers, right? Peter Gantner now can lend money out and get 6%, 7-8% on that money. These are things that will happen. Okay, just because they dropped it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's the powers that be, the centralized authorities that are saying, wait a minute, we're not ready yet. We've got to get ready so we can still participate in it and we can still profit from it.
Right.
And so that's where I believe this is. It's just a slowdown period for it to be able to, and of course they'll come out with rules. As soon as they come out with rules, then Coinbase will say, okay, now let's do it within the rules of where it's at.
So yeah, speaking of centralized banking regulators in New Jersey, the banking regulators there ordered Celsius to stop offering interest-bearing accounts. So that's sort of in line with what you've just described.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about one of our tokens that we talked about in the past, SOL, had a network outage. Any thoughts about, we think about these things as maybe being infallible, but stuff happens.
They are still computer networks, right? So there's still glitches and things that take place. I think overall, I mean, we would probably be shocked if we knew what has happened in regular banking and everything else. I mean, we were talking before this, what's going on with China and, the unknown and those different things that are taking place right now. So I don't think it's a big deal at this point. You're going to have it anytime you put anything on a computer system. There's always a chance for there to be some type of a system outage anytime something's running. I think one of the beauties of the blockchain is that it's a decentralized. So for the whole net, even if there's a problem with the network, everything is still secured because of where and how the data is stored. Right. It's not on a centralized exchange, right? If I had something that was centralized, and permanent failure happens to their computer system, then the data is permanently lost. Yeah. If you have a decentralized network where it's shared data that's on a lot of different systems, if something happens to part of the network, the rest of the network just patches up what's missing from that part of the network, and life goes on and everybody's happy.
Yeah. So I'll mention this too, as folks may know, I do some writing for The Street, and we published recently a list of all the publicly traded companies that own Bitcoin, and people will be surprised by the names of companies, big brand name companies that are owning Bitcoin these days, and perhaps giving credence and validity to the crypto world.
It's more and more every day, right? There's just lots. I mean, Michael Sayer kind of got that ball rolling with MicroStrategies. I mean, they own a tremendous amount of Bitcoin. It's had a huge positive effect on the value of that stock, a matter of fact, right? Because he bought it back when it was down pretty low, and he's made billions of dollars for his shareholders, right? Because of the value, even right now with it at 45, 46,000 today, he still has made a tremendous amount of value for his shareholders. And so it's at a positive. I think once he pulled the trigger on it, because he was really the first publicly traded company to really start acquiring it. And then, of course, you had, Jack, who started to jump into it and buy it, which is the reason why Cash App has it. That he owns that. And that's why they're delving into it. And of course, once PayPal got involved with it, publicly traded company there, it just kind of got the snowball going for all these other companies to get on board with it. And it'll be interesting when you see though, and what they're doing is, most of them is they're taking their cash they were holding and they're putting it into Bitcoin. So it's becoming that store of value for these companies. So, we all know that, there's companies out there sitting on $100 billion, right? $50 billion, $20 billion, 30, who knows what it is. One of the interesting things will be is, there's in another place where there's a huge amount of cash is with the universities, right? Their endowments that they have are huge. They're giant. Do they start moving into holding some Bitcoin? That would be an interesting question to see what begins to happen there, where they start to take some of that cash and move it into cryptocurrency and into Bitcoin as a store of value that not only stores it, but can have the potential to go up in value, increasing their war chest.
So, Peter, not to interrupt you, but is there anything else that we haven't talked about that we should, or anything that bears repeating?
I think the only thing is the Venezuela, not Venezuela,
El Salvador.
El Salvador, with the protesting that's going on there. It's anytime there's change, anytime there's an adjustment in things, people get concerned and get worried. And so this is the first real country to push towards a nationalization of a cryptocurrency. And it's interesting to see, the people that are fighting back, that are, saying, hey, we don't like this for whatever purpose that it is. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, and to see, of course, Bitcoin continues to move forward, continues to go, becomes worth $1 million. Everybody will be extremely happy, right, with the decision that has been made on that part of it. But, there are rough days like today where, the fear of China, and that's what's knocked the markets back today. It's done it for the stock market, right? Is the fear of a Chinese default on that side of it. Fear always creates that uncertainty. And again, we talked about earlier, having a job and solving big problems. That's a problem that needs to be solved, right? Is the movement in the price of all the cryptocurrencies right now to be able to be used as a currency. And of course, we know that almost all the major governments are working on a centralized cryptocurrency.
Right.
I'd watched a very interesting report that the Fed is done with all of the tricks that they can do to keep economy going if there's an issue. Their next big trick out of the rabbit's hat would be a centralized currency, because imagine having everybody have wallets, and with the push of a button being able to put $1,000 in somebody's wallet, which then they could go do, instead of having to mail out checks and do ACHs and that type of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see where it all goes. I'm a huge proponent of it. I think it's only going in one direction, and that is mass adoption. That is a global phenomena. I believe this is the biggest financial opportunity of our lifetimes. So everybody should do your own research, make those decisions, and say, you know what, that guy Peter's crazy. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Good luck. Or maybe he knows what he's talking about, and dig in deep and get involved in the crypto space.
Well, I so enjoy our conversations, Peter, for a couple of reasons. One is, as you were just talking, I was thinking about how years ago people were talking about a cashless society, and everyone thinking, oh, we'll never do away with cash. But here we are using pieces of plastic to touch other pieces of plastic to transfer money. And maybe someday it'll not be your Master or Visa card, but it'll be your crypto card or something that where you're doing a cashless transaction. And the other is, in terms of the government sort of recognizing that crypto is a real thing, the recent legislation that the House and Ways and Means Committee proposed would impose wash sale rules on crypto, which would be interesting, because at the moment there's a lot of trading with crypto and short trading periods, and applying wash sale rules to crypto would certainly make things very interesting for crypto holders.
There's going to be a lot of changes that come around. As the regulations come in, it's what rules do they put in place? What rules don't they put in place? I mean, the internet, right? They left it where it was tax-free for a very long time, which allowed it to flourish and allowed it to grow. And, it's how do they apply that to crypto? They know that there's a lot of people out there that don't want to squash it because they know it's innovation and they know it's going to bring improvement. But then you have to balance between that, people getting taken advantage of and allowing innovation to flourish. So it's going to be interesting to see what that looks like over the next few years.
Yeah. Well, never a dull moment. That's why we're doing this show weekly, to keep folks abreast of all that's going on in the world of crypto, teach them how to invest in crypto, and whatever else we can do to benefit them.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we'll see you guys next week.